I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you. These last 2 months have been very difficult for me in many, many ways. And it is your prayers and concern, your support, and your love that really has carried me. You have supported me both in my body as well as in my spirit. I am healing. I am here. And I am grateful to each of you in ways that I cannot express in words. So I simply say, thank you. Now, the real reason I was invited up here is to welcome all of us to this special dedication of the Heritage Center. It is a new way to look at our 200 years of history. It has been a huge amount of work for many, many people. And yesterday, or I guess on Sunday, Kitty Madden handed me a reading that I thought spoke so well of the Heritage Center and its place for us as a community. There's a time in every life, there's a time in every community, when the very act of looking back and taking stock becomes essential to going forward. Without the light that shines out of the darkness of the past, we cannot chart a new path to the future. I think that you will find that when you step into the Heritage Center, there is an incredible light that will come from our past that definitely will illuminate our path into the future. You will hear many people who will be thanked today, and I think probably one of the persons who will be thanking everybody else, but I also want to thank as we begin, is Denise Ann Clifford.
Susan, this is for you, all the way out in Colorado. This is a celebration of Thanksgiving, and if you look on the back of your program, there is a refrain of a song that says it all. I'll do the verses, and you all join in and let's sing it so everyone who's tuned in on the airwaves can, we have some shortage of programs. Here they come. So that everyone out there in the internet world and in the clouds or wherever they are can help sing along, okay? Anybody else? Raise your hand.
Do you have enough?
Our community that gathers, for the friends that we embrace, for the gifts that we can claim, for the wonders that surround us, for the song that sings our name. We give you thanks. We give you thanks for the grace to receive. In you we believe. We give you thanks. We give you thanks. With faith and hope and love, we give you thanks.
Don't worry, I don't have lots to say. I just thought 2 pages looks better than 1. What I'm going to talk about are some history, bits of history about the archives and the Heritage Room, just to sort of whet your appetite. In 1841, the Loretto rule was being revised, and a decision was made that there be 3 books created and used. 1 for recording important facts and remarkable incidents, plus, quote, whatever may serve as material for a history of the society. I love that one. The second book was a register of vital statistics of living members, and the third book was to be a book of deceased members and information about them, and all 3 of those kinds of books are kept today in the Heritage Center, actually in the archives first. The fire of 1858 destroyed many of the documents and artifacts at the Mother House. A register was drawn with as much accuracy as possible, relying on the members that were alive, and there were other sources. So when you read about the 1858 fire, you'll also know that there were many who helped pull together lost info. In 1896, Mother Francisca Lemay began the autobiographical collection of the sisters. So that was another additional tweak. That same year of 1896, Sister Antonella Hardy became the secretary for Mother Praxedes. Antonella was an expert in keeping records and collecting archival documents and artifacts. And if you ask people like Sister PJ and Sister Cecily and some others of you who have come to do research, you will understand why her history, written in these thick volumes, sometimes like that, and sometimes about inches thick. In the election of 1904, Antonella lost her post as Secretary General, but she continued throughout her life to work on the archives and the museum. You know, she was wonderful at that. In 1944, Sister Matilda Barrett, and there are some relatives, to assist her, came to Loretto to assist Antonella, and then became archivist herself in 1955. Two other folks who came and worked in the museum portion in 1955 were Sister Antonina Ryan and Philippa Henderson. In 1970, Sister Edwarda Ash came. She was retired at the time, and she helped in the archives along with other retired sisters. Sister Edwarda and Sister Elenita Peak had the responsibility of maintaining the archives until 1974, at which time Sister Florence Wolfe was named archivist. In 1980, the Mother House was added to the National Record of Historical Places. In 1985, Sister Aurelia Ottersbach became the archives assistant to Sister Florence. And Aurelia was going to do a 2-year study. She was learning from Florence for 2 years. But Florence retired in 1986, a little early, and Aurelia became the archivist of the work. Sisters who volunteered, oops, I skipped a whole little section. I'm sorry, because you'll see why. In 1997, Kate Nussbauer was appointed. I can't even find your own name on it. In 1997, Kate Nussbauer was appointed archivist, but her term of office was to begin, did not have to begin then because she was working in Eric's Hall, and it became March 1st, 1998. Betty McGrath in 1998 also came to work in the archives, and she worked until her death in 2001. We have a number of sisters who have volunteered in the short time that I'm aware of having lists of them. The two that I want to name first were Kit or Catherine Talon and Anne Lucy O'Brien. So many of you know both of them. At present, Sister Catherine Ann Hines has been volunteering in the archives since shortly after she came to live here at Loretto. In 2004, we are now away from volunteers and back to staff. Sister Janet Rabideau joined the archive staff in May of 2004. And in 2007, Marcia Moen became a member of the staff as well. And Marcia has a background mostly in art, with 3 different degrees in all kinds of ways that she helps us. Janet does mostly computer work. She does a lot of research. just sending of information to people who seek information. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we've got other things.
And now we have another commercial. But this is a freebie because this is about an offer that you can't resist. The Golden Jubilarians for this year, our 200th anniversary Jubilarians, are having a special presentation this afternoon, and they want to let you know so that you don't miss out.
This is the free book. About 4 years ago, a group of us were at a Nearings Hall class reunion. And one of our class, well, she wasn't in our class from Nearings, she was a year ahead of us. She invited us to her lake house at Lake of the Ozarks. And so we also invited some other, and we were all novitiate chums, you know. And so we invited a number of other people from our class to come to the Lake of the Ozarks. And as my guess, it was just a fantastic weekend, way too short. And we hatched this plan of doing a memoir. Now that's a really sappy word in my, you know. So I resisted that right from the get-go. But the next summer we met again, and more people came. And one of the people who came is Michelle Menace, who's a professor at the University of New Mexico. And she studies language and loves to hear people's stories. So she was taping everything. And so we came up with this idea that we would write a book. And the reason we wanted to write the book was because we entered in 1961. Think about what was going on. We had a Catholic president. The Vatican Council was ready to start. The peace movement was ready to move into full swing. Feminist theology was taking off. And we were all young women maturing together at a very formative time in our life. And we were, I always think, and I was pleased to see Helen say the same thing, I always felt like I had 1 foot in tradition and 1 foot stepping through the window that John 23rd opened for us. And then I heard the other night somebody else opened the door, so there's this horrendous updraft, you know, that we got carried away. So, at the time, I didn't think it would ever happen. I just thought, this is a big pipe dream. Well, all of a sudden, people started rising to the occasion, and after about 4 meetings and maybe 8 complete edits, we came up with this book. There's absolutely no question you could have about what's in this book that isn't answered in this book, because we had a chief editor who was a tyrant. We're told that she knows the difference between a regular comma and an italics comma. I said, we wanted a picture of the Regina phone. Those of you who are in the novitiate, during that, it's that cranky thing that does this beautiful tinny music. So I found a picture online, and I sent it to her. And I said, Jane, it's Jane Peckham, by the way. Really, I think that picture should face into the page. She said, Sharon, no,
the handle will be on the wrong side. I said, I'm willing to bet that there's nobody who knows what side the handle's on. It faces out. I could read you this one part, but I think I'm only going to have tears enough to read one story, one thing. The title comes from two places. One, the Voices of Silence comes from the fact that while we were in the novitiate, we didn't talk about a lot of stuff. We experienced a lot of stuff, but we never talked about it. So those are the Voices of Silence. And the Loretto patchwork comes from Lucy Ruth, who's notorious among all of us for making real patchwork and for pulling disparate things together in ways that are beautiful. I'm going to close with a poem of hers, but before I do that, after the procession around and the trip through the museum, the Heritage Center, there's going to be a table in the dining room, and we've got a free book for all of you. If you want to take a book for somebody else, we want to keep a record of that so that we can make sure anybody who's not here gets. So suppose you live with somebody and you say, oh, I'm going to take one home for her. Well, we're going to write that down, okay? If you should happen to want more than one, we are going to get you there. It'll be $42. No. And it will go to the Heritage Center, hopefully someday, for the Education and Justice exhibit that's yet to be made. If you have somebody outside the community who would like one, $15. So talk it up, y'all. We got a gazillion copies. By the way, our class paid for all of it. Two of us who entered, but there are some people in my class that say there were 43. However many there were that entered, 30 made contributions to this book. Wow. It started out, as I said, to be a memoir, but at our third meeting, we formulated a question that said, in light of all those things that were forming us at that time, what about your life now can you attribute to that time? And that, to me, is the heart of this book. So, I'm going to look at Helen because she's going to keep me from crying. This is a poem by Lucy Ruth. I remember with gratitude, well, the name is I Remember. I remember with gratitude the fruits of the labor of others, which I have shared as a part of the normal experience of daily living. I remember the beautiful things that I have seen, heard, and felt, some as a result of definite seeking on my part, and many that came unheralded into my path, warming my heart and rejoicing my spirit. I remember the moments of distress that proved to be groundless, and those that taught me profoundly about the evilness of evil and the goodness of good. I remember the new people I have met, from whom I have caught glimpses of the meaning of my own life and the true character of human dignity. I remember the dreams that haunted me during the year, keeping me ever mindful of goals and hopes which I did not realize, but from which I drew inspiration to sustain my life and keep steady my purpose. I remember the awareness of the Spirit of God that sought me out in my aloneness and gave to me a sense of assurance that undercut my despair and confirmed my life with new courage and abiding hope. Lucy Ruth.
Before we actually begin the trek out to the archives and the Heritage Center, I do need to acknowledge some people that you all need to be aware of. It took the whole community to build this Heritage Center, so you all have a big part in this project. The Loretto community here at the Mother House were the ones who germinated the idea of building this, or putting together a suitable edifice for the preservation of our historical records and to display the artifacts that we did have. At the time, we did not know what shape that would take, but then we had good professional advice. And I'm not going to name all those people. We thanked them on Sunday. I'm going to thank the people from the community now who have been a vital part of that whole project. So I would like the members of Sister Mary Catherine Rabbitt's administrative team that are present here to stand, because that was the first phase, getting the design, getting the building designated that would be used for this. And we had complications along the way, but that was the decision of that administration, that there would be a Heritage Center. So with all of you that are present, please stand. And Susan Swain was part of that team, so she's... Because of complications with the architects and the design team, the Westerly Group, the project was put on hold, but it was resurrected in 2007 when Kathy Muller's administration took office. So would everyone from that administration please stand and be acknowledged. Once we had the go-ahead and we had the commitment to raise the finances, we needed a committee that would work with the design team, because they had the skills, but we had the knowledge. So these are the people that graciously and enthusiastically took on this task, which has been going on since 2009. Eleanor Craig, please stand when I call your name. Antoinette Doyle, Marie Ego, Roberta Hudlow, Donna Mattingly, Kate Missbauer, Marcia Mohan, who's over in the archives as we speak, Janet Marie Rabidou, Anthony Mary Sartorius, Susan Swain, Bob Strobridge from across the ocean, and myself. And I know now you can't wait to get in there, for those who haven't been in there already. We're going to go out the front doors of the church, down the walkway, and I promise to sing a little faster, walk a little faster than I did on Sunday, because I want to beat the rain. So we will stop at the council walkway, that's what we called it when we were here. We'll remember some of the people that Kate called to mind. We'll stop at the mission bell, recall some other folks. We'll stop at the main entrance so you can look at it from the outside of the Archives Heritage Center. And then we'll enter the ramp, and we will have the ribbon cutting, and then you get to go in. And you may spend as much time as you'd like in there. Kate has said she will make sure that it's open for you to go in and browse. There is so much to see, it's going to take more than one visit to absorb everything that's in there. When you finish and you have had time, please feel free then to join the community in the conference room, and we ask that no food or drink be taken into the Heritage Center for obvious reasons. And we have a wonderful buffet and Maker's Mark is hosting. So please stop by. They have concocted a special cocktail for us, for our Jubilee. I think we're going to call it Jubilee Juice. And indulge. Have some wonderful time together, and then don't forget the concert this evening. Stay as long as you want. Have a good time. There's plenty of food, drinks. This is your gift from your community. Ready? Yeah. Bye, Susan.
We have a bunch of photos.
Anyone who really does not feel they want to make that long walk, it's cool out there. Maria says she has 5 spots in the golf cart for those who want to ride. But Anthony has offered to take people to the inside way where you can wait and join us when we get into the Archives Center, okay? The Heritage Center.
Hi, Barbara. Hi, Anna. How are you? Good. How are you? Okay. Good. Good.